years incardinated into the Diocese of Tagbilaran, Bohol. By mandate of his local ordinary, he organized in 1994 his home diocese Tribunal of First Instance at the Commission for the Cultural Heritage of the Church, for which he was appointed tribunal judge and commission chair, respectively. Since his ordination in 1993, he served as the diocese in various capacities, including being chancellor of the diocese, first moderator, curate. Since 1996, Father is the executive secretary of the Catholic Bishops Conference of the Philippines, or CBCP, Episcopal Commission for the Cultural Heritage of the Church. He edits Pintakasi, the journal devoted to the study of the cultural heritage of the Philippine Catholic Church. Father Ted was the founding chair of the Bohol Arts and Culture Heritage Council from 2002 to 2005. He once served as the vice head of the National Commission for Culture and Arts, National Committee on Monuments and Sites, a canon lawyer by training. Father was the secretary of the Apostolic Nunciature Embassy of the Holy See in the Philippines, 2005-2008. He shepherded the bilateral international heritage of the Church in the Philippines and the national agreement between the CBCP and the National Commission for Culture and the Arts, which articulates the said international accord. Father trained in World Heritage Sites Management at the United Nations Institute for Training and Research at Hiroshima, Japan in 2008. He obtained degrees in philosophy, classical studies, theology, and canon law. Earned his master's degree in cultural heritage studies, pursued MA linguistics degree, and gained units in music, all from the University of Santo Tomas, Manila. He will assume his new assignment, judicial vicar of the Tagbilaran Diocese and parish priest of the St. Vincent Ferrer Parish in Tagbilaran City on June 1st. That will be next Sunday na po. Buti na lang, na-invite na natin, kundi very busy na si Father. So while retaining his post as Executive Secretary of the CBCP Episcopal Commission for Church Heritage and Minister for Church Heritage for the Diocese of Tagbilaran. Ladies and gentlemen, no other than Father Milan Ted D. Toralba. A big round of applause to our next speaker. Ayaw ko kamiss kasi kahit isang na.
Salamat po, ma'am. DM Belamide, nasaan po kayo? Father Ver, I think I had a talk here in Cavite, but that was in Naik when you were the parish priest of Naik. That was like 1990 something. So, tumanda na po tayo dito. And all the others who are here, thank you for inviting me. I hesitated coming over. Dahil nga, binabalot ko na yung aking mga gamit. And I said, I think it's better na online na lang ako. No? Yung problema, alam nyo na yung technology natin. This time, our technology is about to take over our humanity. So if you happen to watch Mission Impossible, yun yung theme niya doon. Father Ver has given me this topic on, ano nga ba ito? Cultural heritage in the life and the mission of the church. Ngayon po, gusto kong bilisan, no? Dahil I have a wedding. Hindi ko ako yung ikakasal. At may Manila Cathedral mamayang hapon. So if you would bear with me, I will be as fast as I could. No? It's a good thing, hindi pa po after lunch. Usually after lunch, that's a very holy hour for us priests dahil siesta time po namin yun. So there was one time in one of the parishes in my home province, my home diocese of Tagbilaran, na kasi siesta, training talaga namin yon, dapat may siesta right after lunch. No? So yung pare na tulog, siyempre nagsiesta siya, ngayon naman, merong mga yung dumating sila, dala nila yung patay, yung yumao. No? Dala. Kasi doon walang scheduling. So I think dumating mga around 2 o'clock and Father was still asleep. He was still having his siesta. Kaya umakyat yung sakristan, kumatok sa pintuan. Father, meron patay. And Father was half awake and half asleep. So he told the sacristan, pauupuin mo muna yan. Kung patay, pauupuin mo muna. My dear friends, let me start with this statement. Ito po yung outline. No? Tatlong parts lang naman. Introduction, and then yung body of the topic, and then conclusion. So mabilis lang. At ito po ay patikim. Yung masterclass kasi, usually focus ka lang sa isang topic. No? Ito, patikim lang lahat ito. Dahil siguro kanina nabanggit na ni BM, na yung tungkol sa heritage, yung definition, no? Yung tungkol sa different types of heritage kay Father Ben and Ben. So, I will start with this first frame. Bago lang ito, look at the date, May 14, no? It was the address of Pope Leo XIV to the Eastern Catholic bishops. They were in the Vatican for a meeting, for an assembly, because that was a time for the Jubilee for the Eastern Catholic churches. Now these are churches in the East that are united with the Church of Rome. Meaning to say, there are 23 of them sui juris churches that are Catholic. Hindi po ito yung Orthodox. Iba yung Orthodox. No? So the words that we would find would be tradition, heritage, and patrimony. Sabi ng ating Santo Papa, it is vital then that you preserve your traditions. These are the key words: preserve your traditions without attenuating them, without reducing them to meaninglessness, no? For the sake perhaps of practicality or convenience, lest they be corrupted by the mentality of consumerism and utilitarianism. 3 words in the domain of heritage, tatlong mga salita na palaging naririnig natin because they seem to be convertible words. No? When you say patrimony, heritage, legacy, narinig natin kanina kay BM, and then tradition. No? So when we look at the etymology of tradition, tradere, it means to hand over. No? I-hand over mo lang. No? O ibigay mo kay ano yan. So tradition, i-hand over mo. Heritage is different. When you look at the etymology of heritage, it comes from 2 Latin words. No? Eri, which means yesterday, and tangere. Nolime, tangere. No? Yung novel ni Rizal. So eri, yesterday, and tangere means to touch. So it's touching yesterday, today. Patrimonium comes from 2 Latin words, pater, father, and monium, which is a suffix which means characteristic, quality, status, condition. More related to something that is of a legacy, inheritance, hacienda, halimbawa. It comes from the Latin facere, hacer in Spanish, hacienda. So, etong lahat ng ito, yung if we're going to stitch them all, it means to say, handing over something that is valuable to you for the next generation, for whatever purpose, because there is significance and value to the object. Kanina, may binanggit si BM tungkol sa definition ng heritage which comes from the UNESCO. Now, get the Heritage Center would define it similarly. Pero maganda yung definition ng Getty. Yung Getty, yung nasa LA. Ang definition kasi nila is whatever you value that you hand over to the next generation. Whatever, kahit ano na may kahalagahan para sa iyo. Iba ang kahalagahan sa katuturan. So there is a distinction between value and significance. Mamaya makita natin yan towards the end of my talk. No? So whatever you value, that you hand over to the next generation. So when you look at the vector of heritage, yung vector kasi, if you remember our algebra, yung ganun, no? Ganyan kasi, no? Ganyan siya. Doon hindi ko na sinama dito dahil sa hahaba na yung baka. Kasi ito, all of these mga 100 slides po yan. Biro lang, 30 slides na lang. So, dinaglitan ko na lang dahil, well, everyone will be hungry and we will have to, go somewhere. Next frame, kanina, no? So, that's the present. So, kung makikita natin, the challenge of the Holy Father is to preserve your tradition and then you promote it. But let us look at the very beginning. Kailan ito nagsimula? Even from the very moment, no, of the apostolic era, during the time of the apostles, we see that there had already been tradition. Tandaan ko scriptures are oral traditions in writing. Scriptures are sacred traditions in writing. So, merong mga sacred traditions ng simbahan na hindi isimula. So, larger is sacred tradition than scriptures. Dahil merong oral tradition, corpus na hindi kasama, hindi isinama sa canonicity ng scriptures. So, may mga bagay na hindi inilagay doon. Pero, they are still tradition of the community, of the faith community. So what are those traditions? So we would see that in the history of the church, especially as we read in the Acts of the Apostles, these remain faithful to the teaching, to the brotherhood, kapatiran, to the breaking of the bread, in Greek, klasis to arto, the Eucharist, and to the prayers. The prayers here would refer to in our time, the different rituals, and then popular piety, and pious exercises. So, ito yung foundational element ng tradisyon ng simbahan, ng heritage ng simbahan. So that is why St. Paul, in a number of instances, in his letters, like to the Thessalonians and to the Corinthians, he would say, you stand firm, keep the traditions that we taught you. In the second paragraph, the second letter of Paul to the Thessalonians, chapter 3 and 6, 3 to 6, chapter 3, verse 6, in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, we urge you, brothers, to keep away from any of the brothers who refuse to work or to live according to the tradition we passed on to you. You have done well, this is the 1 Corinthians, in remembering me so constantly and in maintaining the traditions just as I passed them on to you. So if we draw an arc from the time of the apostles all the way to Pope Leo XIV, that tradition, that corpus of tradition, of legacy, of heritage, had been kept nandoon siya. But we have different interpretation or different expressions of the same faith. Next frame. So, when we look at it, no, ang nakikita ko natin, the Jesus event would refer to what the apostles really preached. The core of the preaching of the apostles is the death, the passion, the death, and the resurrection of Christ. So, when we consider scriptures, especially the Gospels, how the evangelists, the story writers wrote the Gospels, they start from that This is the starting point of their writing, the passion, death, and resurrection. And they move backwards. Backstory, dito nagsimula. Kaya sinasabi ni San Pablo, di po ba, one of the responses in the mystery of faith, we proclaim your death, O Lord, until you come again. And that one comes from St. Paul. Ito yung kanilang pinangangaral. The preaching of the passion, death, and resurrection. And then they move backwards. So iba ang kwento, di ba? Stories would usually begin kagaya ng fairy tale. In the beginning, and they live happily ever after. Ito, nagsimula sa dulo, sa ending, and then moving backwards. So, they were not really concerned about Jesus' infancy, his hidden life, his parables, his miracles. Pabalik sila. But that is the punctum. The punctum is this one. Ito. Kaya kung makikita natin sa mga simbahan, bakit hindi si Jesus, no? Superimposed on a cross, the resurrected Christ, because that was not the punctum. The point of the story, as I've been saying, is the passion, death, and resurrection of the Lord. Ito yung kwento. So, that kwento, wala tayong pointer, yung depositong fide, the deposit of faith, that constitutes the deposit of, yung kinukwento nila. And from here comes the early church's common oral tradition. Narinig ko, yun pala ang sinabi ng mga apostol, because the apostles were the eyewitnesses as well as 5,000 others who saw the Lord when He resurrected, after His resurrection and before His ascension. Nakikita nila, narinig nila ang sinasabi ng Panginoon. So everything was oral, verbal. No? Until such time when it was put down into writing. Kaya sabi natin, ano ba yung pinakaunang aklat ika nga ng bagong tipan? First Thessalonians, no? Anong taon? 51 AD. The first gospel? Mark, year 64 to 70. 64 to 70. So, ibig sabihin, from the Jesus event until 50 AD, 51 AD, ilang taon yun na walang scriptures? Kasi the canonicity of scriptures only took place when they compiled it, and then they decide, ito yung papasok. 4th century, 3rd century AD. So, these two, according to the Catechism of the Catholic Church, constitute the heritage of faith. Ito nagsisimula. No? The early church's common tradition and the synoptic and pneumatic gospels that constitute the heritage of faith. So, paano natin maipahayag yung ating pananampalataya? And this is now coming back to the present, not really the present, but the recent past, would be Pope St. John Paul II in his apostolic letter, Motu Proprio Inde Pontificatus Nostri. Indeed, by its very nature, faith tends to express itself in artistic forms and historical testimony, having an intrinsic evangelizing power and cultural value to which the Church is called to pay the greatest attention. Yung mga nilagyan natin ng linya, artistic forms and historical testimony, dito nagsimula kung ano yung cultural goods. But at this time, no, it's simply a description of that phrasal term, cultural goods or cultural heritage. Artistic forms and historical testimony. So let us try to parse those two elements of cultural heritage. Dahil ito yung ating nakikita. Remember, that was 1993. So the Holy Father expanded what comprises the cultural heritage of the church. No? Sabi niya, in his address to the now no longer existing Pontifical Commission for the Cultural Heritage of the Church, 1995, that was 1993, this is 1995, ang sabi niya, the artistic patrimony of painting, sculpture, architecture, mosaic, and music placed at the service of the church's mission. And then sometimes in 97, he added to the first section, museum. And then to this, we should then add the wealth of books contained in ecclesiastical libraries and the historical documents preserved in the archives of ecclesial communities. Dalawa. Third, this concept covers the literary, theatrical, and cinematographic works produced by the mass media. So now, we have an idea, ito pala yung pamana ng simbahan. Pamanang pangkalinangan ng simbahan. Ito pala. No? Next. So, we try to define it, give a essential definition of what the cultural heritage of the church based on the pronouncement of the Holy See, based on the pronouncement of the Holy Father, Pope St. John Paul II, that they are significant expressions of the community's faith, preserved and promoted due to their sign value for evangelization, catechesis, education, and enjoyment. I used to teach logic. No? Sa logic kasi when you define, may mga elements yan. No? May mga elements. So, kumbaga, the genus would be the expression. So there are many different expressions. There are expressions that are significant, others that are insignificant. But what type of expression? They are of the community's faith, preserved and promoted. Hindi lang preservation. Kasi when you preserve, you simply create it into a museum object to be called, ay, ganda nito. Hanggang doon lang. No, kailangan ay ito ipahayag. What is promotion in Tagalog? Promotion. Hindi po ako native speaker ng Tagalog. Promotion is? Pagpapakilala, pwede rin. Pwede rin. No? Pagpapakilala, that will be the species, in terms kasi sa logic species. And then the specific difference would be sign value for evangelization, catechesis, education, and enjoyment. So we have a definition of what constitutes the cultural heritage of the church. Ngayon, if we try to put them as a set, no? Because our minds think in terms of sets kasi this is what we see. Typologies. Painting, sculpture, architecture, mosaic. We don't have mosaic tradition, not music, mosaic. Music and museum objects with sacred liturgy as its vertex, as its point of contact. The second typology, books and archives, which are heritage and some at the service of the ecclesiastical culture and church history. And the third typology, literature, theater, and cinema, heritage produced by the media of mass communication, which is not alien in bringing about ecclesiastical, artistic value. Yung tatlo. So we see the big picture. This is the comprehension of cultural heritage of the church. And now, we try to visualize them. Kasi, paano ba ito tayong mga Pinoy kasi, we can better understand if we see something na kaya mahilig tayo ng comics, mahilig tayo mag-scroll, visual eh. Diba? Kung mahaba yung nasa Facebook, ay, ang haba nito, hindi na natin babasahin. Bahala. Basta picture. Okay na, picture. We can stay 24 hours scrolling. Picture. Okay. Kung may mga words man, mga salita, short. Meron kasi mga, lalong-lalo na sa politika, no? Ang haba-haba, hindi ko na binabasa yan. No? So, yun. So, when we visualize the first typology, dahil this was mentioned by the Holy Father, Pope St. John Paul II, yun yung makikita natin, no? Painting, sculpture, music, pipe organ, interior of the church, ceiling painting, church. So, marami talaga. Marami. Then, next. The second typology, we could visualize that these are representative of the second typology, archives and books, ecclesiastical libraries. So halimbawa, archives ito, rare books ito sa UST, cantoral po yan sa Baclayon. Ito po ay archives ng Diocese of Lawag. And this was taken in 1997 po yata. This was Bishop Edmund Abaya, he passed away, and an old picture of a bishop, that's Bishop Manuel Mascareñas, a Boholano bishop. No? And then the cantoral, you would see this in Baclayon. So these are examples of books and archive representative. And then, the third typology would be literature, theater, and cinema. Siguro ito, I think this must be Moro-Moro. This would be Cenaculo. Ay, kasi Cenaculo. Malinaw. This is Bulacan. No? This is a book by Graham Greene, The Power and the Glory. No? This book, The Shoes of the Fisherman, Maurice West, was adapted into film. This was adapted into film. Bago lang po ito. I think 2 or 3 years ago. Smaller and smaller circles. And then, this is a novel adapted to film. This is Filipino. No? And then, The Passion of the Christ. Di po ba? And then, this is Cecil DeMille's 10 Commandments. No? So, you would see, malawak yung pag-unawa natin ng pamanang pangkalinangan, no, ng simbahan. So, let's visualize again the universe of the cultural heritage of the church. So, you would notice, hindi ko na binanggit sa inyo yung different typologies of natural and cultural heritage, di po ba? Tangible and intangible, immovable and movable. Basta ito, representative sila ng cultural heritage of the church. I show this to you because the cultural heritage of the church has also as one of its pillars, culture, kultura, no? Kalinangan. Kaya nilagay ko dito, culture. So when we say culture, hindi po ibig sabihin yung puro sayaw lang, kantahan lang, no? When you say, ay, cultural worker yan, naalala ko doon, when you say cultural worker, the reference would be yung pumupunta ng Japan. Ayaw kong gamitin yung salitang yun eh. But nevertheless, ano nga ba yun sila? Oo, kayo nagsabi noon. So, culture. Kaya, culture is you know, no? Kaya naman may mga anthropology experts would be the sum totality, no? Of a target population's knowledge, law, belief, custom, social behavior. Lahat ng yan. So, they converge. This is a Venn diagram, remember, in logic, Boolean logic, Venn diagram po yan, no? So, they converge somewhere here to develop the cultural heritage of the church. Okay? So, nakikita natin yung isang tinakpan ng pamanahang pangkalinangan. Now, hindi po ito binanggit ng simbahan. Meaning, the church has not defined the intangible, what constitutes its intangible cultural heritage. Hindi po binanggit. So, what we did is to look at ano bang ibig sabihin ng intangible cultural heritage. And the institution that gives us a definition would be UNESCO. So we got this from UNESCO, Convention for the Safeguarding of the Intangible Cultural Heritage. This was released in 2003. Kaya ito yung kanyang description. No? Practices, representations, expressions, knowledge, skills, and then the domains. So when you look at it, and then you match it to our practices, rituals, novenas, popular pieties, makikita natin nagmamatch sila. And where will we find this discussed? In liturgy. No? So, hindi masyadong malinaw, pero all of this was defined or were defined by the congregation for what was then the Congregation for Divine Worship and Discipline of the Sacraments. In a directory on popular piety and the liturgy, principles and guidelines. 2002 and that's 2003. Anyway, pag-aralan po ninyo yan. I think I had an online presentation on this one. Nandun pa. Nasa Facebook yata ng Intramuros Administration where I discussed on the different aspects of the intangible cultural heritage of the church. So, next frame please. We try to make representation of the intangible cultural heritage. Visita Iglesia, Traslación, Santa Cruz, no? Ano tawagin niyo? Salubong, Moriones, no? Sinulog, Simbang-Gabi, Subli, Batangas. Then, next frame. Ito yung sinakulo kanina, di ba? Palaspas. Skills, no? Palaspas. Flores de Mayo. Flores de Mayo, no? Pabasa. Banata. Pampanga. Flagellation. Sa amin po ito, we call it padagan sa mga bituon, dagit sa mga kumeta. Dagit sa kumeta. Christmas time po ito. No? There's a contraption. This star, this comet, coming from the altar area, from the sanctuary, would run through the nave, and then yung mga stars na yan, dinadagit. No? What is dagit nga ba sa Tagalog? Dagit din, no? And then, that would be Holy Week. And then this would be panunuluyan, no? Ano pa? Yeah, so they are representative of the intangible cultural heritage of the church. And then another one would be yung paggawa ng Belen, paggawa ng urna, sa amin po yan. Paggawa ng parol, skills, no? Tradition. This is wood carving. And then the language of the bells, dahil yung bells kasi, di ba? There are different ways of ringing it. There's a language for ringing it. Hindi lang ganun. So sa amin, we would know if a youngster died, or a female died, or a male died, matanda ba siya, no? Binata ba siya, anong oras, orasyon, no? All that stuff. This is in Paya. This is in Quezon. And then Obando sa Bulacan. And then ito po yung Holy Thursday na yung hapunan ng mga apostol. Okay, so what else? Okay, next frame. So we inventorize, gawin po ninyo, may cultural mapping kayo, you inventorize your important cultural properties, important cultural heritage. So this would be the cultural material. This is how the church sees it. This is how UNESCO would look at the different domains of important cultural property. So tinitingnan natin sila because we try to match them. As I said, the church has not defined its intangible cultural heritage. No? Okay, next frame. So, ganun din. So, pasyon, palaspas, perwinging. Well, panihapon sa mga apostoles would be hapunan ng mga apostol. No? Obando, pahiyas, wood carving, penitensya, papanga. So, that would be the big picture, the megaverse of the intangible cultural heritage of the church. So they converge somewhere. We continue to use the Venn diagram para makita man natin, nandun pala yung kanilang kung saan sila nagtatagpo. Something common of the two elements of the churches, Pia Excel Chitsia, would be pious exercises, and then the UNESCO's definition of ICH. Okay, next frame. So kanina, sabi ko nga, hindi binigyan ng kahulugan yung intangible cultural heritage ng simbahan. No? Tangible heritage lang. And the reason for that would be non-definition of what constitutes the church's intangible heritage, because they are more related to liturgy. And second, what could be construed as the church's intangible cultural heritage is, in the language of the church, Pia Exercitia, essentially connected to and flows from its sacred liturgy. Binanggit natin. And it's putative or presumptive kasi sabi ko, dahil hindi siya na-define, parang it seems to be ito yun. So nothing definitive on the part of the church. Next frame. Now, all of that would happen only if we do cultural mapping, di ba? I'm sure a number of you had cultural mapping, and this is how it looks. Inventory and catalog. Inventory plus catalog is documentation. Another word for that, from the point of view of government, would be cultural mapping. So nakikita natin yung phases, the heuristic, the analytical, and the synthetical. The phase would have each an output, but when you consider everything, this is the outcome. A baseline data of the cultural heritage of your diocese. So, makita yung kabuuan. Mahalaga ho yan mamaya. Bakit nga ba kailangan ng cultural mapping? So, that was the introduction. 12:07 na. This is the second part. Mabilis lang. The locus of the religious cultural heritage in the life and mission of the church. No? The locus, saan nga ba natin ilagay? Saan nga ba? Ang dami namang concerns yung simbahan. No? Saan natin siya ilalagay? So if halimbawa, no, meron tayong lote, ay tatanong, saan ko ilalagay yung aking bahay? Where will the footprint of my house be? Dito ba sa gitna? Para pwede akong malaki aking yard, no? O sa likod na lang, para may panorama ako sa aking bahay from the front, etc. O dito sa harap na lang kasi gusto ko yung backyard ko malaki, malawak. So, we try to find where in the church is the place of its cultural heritage. It is placed at the service of the church as tangible representation and expression of faith, and a privileged means of evangelization and catechesis. These are elements that reflect the church's spiritual beauty and contribute to the transmission of faith. Tangible representation, expression, privileged means of evangelization. So, ginamit ko lang ito. Hindi ko alam ano ho yan. Dito ho yan eh. Sa Imos? Dito ba yun?
Diyan po sa labas.
Kasi kanina ko pa kinuha yan. And then the facade of the cathedral, no? That's the cathedral, hindi ko ba? Ito, no? The facade. Next. That's the place. Alam natin, it's place of the service of the church for transmission of its belief, and at the same time privileged means of evangelization. And this is the role. There are four. The role can be seen through evangelization, catechesis, faith-based tourism, and there's a fourth one. Mamaya na yung fourth one. So in evangelization, this is the role of the cultural heritage of the church in her mission. The cultural heritage of the church serves as a powerful means of evangelization as it provides tangible, intangible expressions of faith that can be easily understood and appreciated across different cultures. Ginamit ko, representation, representative would be your church or your cathedral, di po ba? Kasi yung cathedral, any church would be reflective of not only our belief, not only of our belief in God, but especially as the kingdom of God, the seed of the kingdom of God here on earth. Dahil alam natin ang daming mga acceptation of what church means. Hindi lang yung building. But transcending what the building is, alam natin, it's the mystical body of Christ. Dahil makikita ho natin kung cruciform yung simbahan, bakit nga ba siya naka-cross? So these are things that we need to understand to be able to promote, propagate. Ito yung aming paniniwala, hindi po circular yung simbahan. Because everything that you see in architecture can be read. They can be read. Lahat kasi niyan may sign value. So the language of the church would be signs and symbols, perceptible to the senses. Pero kailangan nga gamitin yung ating isipan, gamitin yung ating utak, upang sa ganoon maunawaan na ganito pala yun. Evangelization is to preach Jesus. And there are different ways and means. Cultural heritage would be one. Next frame would be catechesis. Catechesis here means that the church uses cultural heritage to teach and guide its members in their faith journey, helping them to understand the history, traditions, and teachings of the church. Evangelization is to preach Christ, na mapakilala siya. Catechesis is to teach about Christ, na maituro kung sino nga ba si Jesus. Ipakilala kita sa kaibigan ko. And then later on, you would know, you would begin to know, ganito pala yung ugali niya, ito yung likes niya, ito yung dislikes niya. That's catechesis, no? So here, ang ginamit kong representation would be, saan po yan? Cathedral po namin yan. Yung Tagbilaran, no? So ang pinakita namin dyan, no? Yung isa. Yung isang, ito, yan. So ganito yung iconographic program niya. So you don't put painting simply dahil gano'n, no? There's a reason for those things. Lahat niyan, kailangan na connected, may kadugtungan sa lahat na nasa loob ng simbahan. What would be the purpose for the ceiling painting? You know the word ceiling, no? Ceiling, celare, from the Latin word celare. Celare means, what does it mean? Celare means to hide. It's a play on the Latin word celum. Celum means heaven. Celum. Celare, C-A-E. Celum is C-O-E. No? It's a play on that word. So here, what do you hide? Anong itinatago sa bubong? Ito. Anong nasa ilalim niyan? Purloins, joints, no? Hangers, beams. Yun ang itinatago niya. Yung mga linya ng ilaw, kuryente. Yun ang itinatago niya. But at the same time, it also reveals. What does it reveal? Nandoon Visions of heaven. Baka ganun nga siguro yun. Pero, the way we see it is like what St. John would say. We see heaven, we see the kingdom of God dimly. Nakikita mo, dimly, as in a mirror, dimly. Nakikita mo siya. In Old Church of Remember, yung mga tabernacles, no? Ewan ko kung yung tabernacle dito sa inyo, meron bang kurtina? Tinatakpan ng kurtina? Hindi na. Bakit siya tinatakpan ng kurtina? Ang daming dahilan Tinatakpan siya ng kurtina sa amin. Tinatakpan ng kurtina, pero yung kurtina na iyon, transparent. What's the purpose of covering it, but at the same time, showing it, but dimly? Bakit nga ba? Well, that's the whole idea of St. John. You see reality on earth dimly, as in a mirror. Nakita mo pero hindi malinaw. Hindi malinaw sa iyo. Why? Because we will only see clearly at beatific vision. At beatific vision. So that's the purpose for the ceiling painting. It teaches you. May tinago, pero may ipinapakita. It would be like it would be like the, sabi nga raw, the skirt, no? The skirt of a woman. It should be long enough to cover the essential, but short enough to exhibit the interest. Ganun siya. So the iconographic program, no? If you go there, kasi I'm in charge of the whole thing doon sa amin, lahat mga simbahan doon, luma. Ito yung kasaysayan ng simbahan ng Diocese ng Tagbilaran. Ito, no? So this column. Ito naman, everything related to the life of the Blessed Virgin. Dito naman, the life of Saint Joseph. Kasi San Jose kami, yung aming patron. Aha. So, highlights in the life of Saint Joseph. Saan na nga ba yun? Highlights, Saint Joseph. Highlights in the life of the Blessed Virgin. And then, wala na dito na, hindi ba? Ayan, sige. So, ito, di ba? Anong tawag dito sa architecture? Pendentive. Pendentive. So, dito, nagkamali yung painter, no? Supposedly, dito si San Juan, dito si Saint Mark. Pero merong dahilan bakit dyan sila nilalagay. Bakit nga ba? Ang tawag dito, gospel transept. Anong tawag sa kabila? Kasi meron siyang bisig arm. Anong tawag dito sa kabila? Epistle transept. Gospel, epistle. Saint John, dito siya. Bakit? Dahil in the Old Mass, ngayon kasi Novus Ordo, no? The Old Mass, what's the last part of the Old Mass? The reading of John's Gospel, chapter 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. Saint John, dahil yung pari na nandito, di ba? Both shepherd and sheep face one direction because our prayer direction is, unidirectional. Tayong lahat, no? Facing what should be geographic east, no? Or liturgical east. Nililipat kasi yung libro dito. Nililipat kasi niya dyan. Dito niya babasahin yung chapter 1 of John's Gospel. This side, so the Gospel transept. Okay? The Gospel transept. So nandun siya. Because John begins his Gospel from that height. Eagle, hindi po ba yung kanyang eagle yung kanyang totemic symbol niya. Sa kabila, it's Mark. Because here in St. John, it's reflective, evocative of Jesus' divine nature. Anong sa kabila? His human nature. Because Mark starts with exactly reflective of the human nature of the Lord. Na siya ay naisilang mula sa isang babae, no? Etc. And everything that's here has meaning. Anyway, hindi nakikita natin doon kung anong meron. But over the epistle transept would be paintings of San Roque because San Roque is our 5 minutes na lang. Meron pa akong 50 slides. Next frame. Hindi ko na explain yan. Wait. Yung dome, the meaning of the dome is heaven, no? Heaven, no? So, and the meaning of kasi kwadrado ito, di ba? Square. So if you combine circle and square, what do you get? What geometric figure? Octagon. How many sides? 10. Wala, di ba? What's the numeric sign of 8? Perfection of perfections. No? On the 8th day. 8th day. So, the 4 sides is evocative of the 4 corners of the world. Ang kabuuan ng mundo ang sansinukob. Circle, heaven. Heaven on earth. Heaven on earth. The church is the template of heaven. So we bring heaven on earth, especially at the celebration of the Eucharist. Next frame. Ay, malayo pa ako. Hinihingal na ako. Faith-based tourism. This is where you earn money. Pero hindi ko sabihin sa inyo yung sikreto doon. Faith-based tourism. Ano yung una? Evangelization, catechesis. Third is faith-based tourism. Cultural heritage sites, historic heritage churches, pilgrimage destinations attract visitors from around the world, fostering a sense of community, promoting the church's message. You get to have visitors who are not Catholics. Marami. I mean, isa sa economic drivers ng Bohol, agriculture and tourism. So we are banking on this one. Kaya may tandem yung, kumbaga, yung sa government, sinasakyan yung programa namin on faith-based tourism. This is Caracol. Dito sa inyo. Ito ay nasa Naki kay Father dati, no? And then yun ay ang Porta Baga. No? So, pinupuntahan yung huyan. They don't have to be pilgrims. They can be tourists. They can be cultural tourists. Next frame. Kasi makikita ho natin the difference between tourism and pilgrimage. Pero, you can combine them. So, when you combine them, you get faith-based tourism, also known as sacred, spiritual, cultural heritage. So, makikita ho na yung naka-highlight, yun yung mga key words dyan. No? Iba ang tourism, iba ang pilgrimage. Strictly tourism, strictly pilgrimage. Kung hahaluin mo, ito yung lalabas sa kanya. Because halimbawa, if you want to go, like mag-Marian pilgrimage tayo sa Eastern Europe, ay hindi lang tayo pupunta ng simbahan. Yung iniiwasan mo namin sa Bohol, ABC. You know what's ABC? Another boring church tour. Kasi isang simbahan, okay na ho yun. Para sa mga ay simbahan na naman. So we avoid that one. So i-combine mo, ano next? Mamaya, may, ano tayo, maligo tayo ng dagat. Gano'n, di ba? Mamaya, manood tayo ng sine. So you go around. Bili ka ng, bili ka ng mga, souvenir. Next frame. So, types of tourism associated with the culture, dami. That's faith-based, no? And lahat ng yan, the church has an imprint and can also be influenced in its faith-based tourism program. Next frame. So, mas malinaw ito. No? This is Venn diagram again, no? In Boolean logic. Kasi mas madali kung maunawaan natin. They converge here. Culture and heritage. Kanina, pinakita lang natin itong dalawa, hindi po ba? But we added religion. So that's S, the summation, cultural heritage. Kabila, tourism, pilgrimage. They meet somewhere, they interface. But when you add cultural heritage of the church, you get faith-based tourism. So S1 plus S2 equals UBE. Well, the B there, it's an acronym kasi. Unique, that's Bohol. Unique Bohol Experience. Siguro sa inyo, unique UCE. Uche. And it's a complete pilgrimage and tourism experience. Dito po. Because this is one area that most of us haven't really tapped. Pero as I'm telling you again, nangailan tayo ng pera, hindi po ba? Nandito yung pera. Tell you. Next frame. So, this is the last role of the cultural heritage of the church in her mission, preservation of identity. Well, nobody else would do that. No? So, it's part of our identity. Kailangan bang tanggalin na yun? Because this is an issue, no? Especially that is an issue in an Eastern church, Suriuris, yung Syro Malabar in India. Nag-aaway sila since 2001 po yata. Nag-aaway sila. Yung mga pare, yung mga laigo, they are clashing because the synod of the Syro Malabar Church in the Archdiocese of Ernakulam, Alangami, they ordered, kailangan liturgy of the word, harap sa tao. Liturgy of the Eucharist, parang nagtalikod ka, no? Sabi na, hindi pwede, no? Sabi ng ibang mga pare. So there are dissidents, not even the Pope himself, Francis, was able to resolve this one. But it pertains to our identity. So, heritage is, as tayo yun, extension ng ating pagkakakilanlan. Significance and value, may pagkakaibahan. No? Significance pertains to the object known, value to the subject knower. Halimbawa, eto, meron siyang significance. There are typologies in significance, different typologies of significance. It is embedded in the item. Next frame. It is embedded in the place, fabric, setting. The item itself, nandun yung significance niya. There's a way for identifying the significance, but value comes from our imposition of worth of the object. Value is the compelling force for heritage management intrinsic to the subject knower. Nasa akin ang value. Nasa bagay yung significance. Ay, malapit na. So where does value come from? No? Where does value come from? It comes from our appreciation and valorization of that object. No? So it goes through the cognitive process. Kasi nandito lahat eh. Hindi ko na-explain yan kasi that will take another semester next spring. So ito na yung almost we are at the end. These are the triumvirate saints of the cultural heritage of the church. Pinakita ko ito as a conclusion, meaning to say that we appeal to them, ask for their intercession before God so that we could be heritage advocates and heritage lobbyists. Saint Hyacinth, Dominican. Dahil yung kwento niyan, nasunog yung simbahan, ito yung kanya kinuha. No? Ang kinuha niya una, si Mama Mary. Si Mama Mary. Sabi ng image ni Baby Jesus, bakit siya lang? Ako rin. So kinuha rin ito. Kinuha rin niya bago nasunog yung simbahan. Saint Joseph is as in the words of Pope St. John Paul II, Redemptoris Custos. Custodian, curator of the Redeemer. The Redeemer, Jesus, is the punctum, the source and summit of all heritage. And of course, Pope St. John Paul II because he elaborated on the cultural heritage of the church. Next frame. Tuloy-tuloy. The connecting line that links the artistic, cultural processes of Christian inspiration and faith is the reference to Christ. Yun lang talaga. No? Doon lang. The reason why we have cultural heritage, why we are working on it, why we are promoting it and preserving it, because He is culmen et fons, culmen, culmination, and zenith, fons, fountain, source of the heritage of the church. Next frame. Daghang salamat.